going to win enough games in this division to win, because we saw that. I thought the defense was spectacular on Sunday. I really did. For the amount of time that they were on the field, they allowed just one touchdown, and that came on a drive where there was a bogus pass interference call that put them into the red zone, and they still got blown out.
Now, Don, real quick, I think you're not focusing on the strength of your argument, in my opinion, even though I disagree with you. The strength of the argument is emphasizing this schedule. Because it is arguably the hardest.
I said that.
But it's really, so for people who haven't looked, to Don's point, even though I still don't think the season's over by a long shot if they lose with Odell this week, and I don't think they'll have Odell this week, they start with the Cowboys, the Lions this week, Monday Night Football, then they're at the Eagles. We would all agree those are winnable football games. They go at the Buccaneers, which gets tougher because I think the Buccaneers are very good. Home against the Chargers, definitely a winnable football game. At the Broncos, home Seattle, home Rams, and at San Francisco. Both very winnable games.
Right.
But then
you're making out to be like the March on Bataan.
But then you go Chiefs, Redskins, Raiders, Cowboys, Eagles, Cardinals, Redskins.
7-9. 7-9. If you're telling me you can't move the football with Odell Beckham Jr. against the Lions, who are you moving it against, Michael? And then
wait, where did you pick the team? What did you pick them to be?
9-7.
9-7.
If you remember when we did the win-loss, win game, I had them 9-7. Well, obviously, two of the games you thought they had a realistic chance to win, Dallas, where they won both games last year, and at home against Detroit, then is it that crazy for me to think they were going to 7-9?
You did not have them winning both Dallas games this year.
But either way, I had them beating Detroit, and I certainly didn't have them losing to Dallas 19-3, in which they had one lousy drive the entire game. Now, if they lose the game because Beckham doesn't play, different story. If they lose the game, but the offense isn't the reason they lost it, different story. What I'm saying is if they struggle offensively with Odell, where they can't protect Eli, Marshall can't get open, Odell has, his typical 7 catches for 93 yards, but they can't win by getting a touchdown in the red zone, then what's turning around, Michael? With that schedule, with an offense that looks like it's exactly the same as last year, why am I that off base? You want to disagree, that's fine. But to say it's outlandish is ridiculous.
That was in the playoffs last year loses 2 games. But they can get tighter. They can play better. They're not going to roll over and die.
I'm not saying I said they'd finish 7-9. So obviously,
you said that they will not make the playoffs.
I don't think they will make the playoffs because it's a very difficult division. Can we admit that?
But
Dallas is obviously the defending
champ.
Dallas,
I think, is better than the Giants.
I don't know.
The Eagles aren't better than the Giants.
But it doesn't matter who's great. It matters who's better. And right now, with everybody high on Philadelphia and with Dallas already a win in their pocket, and also Washington is nothing to sleep on either. I know they didn't look great at home against Philadelphia, but it's a team that split with the Giants last year. You said it yourself, Michael. You were worried about the Giants because the schedule was tougher and there were so many close games last year that they won. And sometimes the worm turns. So you were concerned about that.
Right,
but now you would have some legitimate concerns about a team that looks identical offensively to the team that they had last year at the end of the season. Now, again,
but they could be better defensively.
How could they be better defensively than they were against Dallas?
Because they're going to have JPP the entire year.
But good luck, seriously, winning 10 or 11 games, which you would have to do in 14, by the way, in order to be able to win the division, when you're going up against some really good offensive teams, to ask your defense to be the 2000 Ravens, because that's what you'd be asking for. Now, I don't think it's going to happen, Michael. I think if Odell doesn't play again, then it doesn't matter, okay? Because I don't really think I think they're going to struggle without Odell. But if Odell plays and is healthy and they continue to struggle, Michael, I don't think I'm that off base.
I think we all just feel, Don, while you absolutely could be right, a team that's that loaded on defense, if the idea that their offense couldn't gel at some point a bit more, you never know what happens. Like you got to give a team time. He's been out for a month.
But you say time, right? Well, what Steve Young says, as Michael brought up, is that sometimes it takes till Thanksgiving. Well, this team, unfortunately, if they're 0-2, is not going to get that grace period because they're going to be in Philadelphia, in Tampa the next 2 weeks. So how are you going to feel about them turning around immediately to win those games? You might be 1-3, 0-4. Then what are we saying?
It's amazing to me that you're turning Philadelphia and Tampa into Lambeau Field with Lombardi.
Well, if you
those are not great teams. They're good teams.
You're looking at it overall. I'm saying, Michael, what is the feeling going to be? Because every Giant fan thinks I'm nuts right now because they expect them to go against Detroit on Monday and win the game and everything's going to be fine. But what do you think the theme is going to be with the phone calls on Tuesday, because they're playing on Monday? If the Giants lose 20-3 with a healthy Odell Beckham Jr. playing, everybody's going to be jumping off the bridge. All I'm doing is predicting the inevitable.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to wait. You can wait to answer it until after the commercial. What if the Giants lose 10-7? You still say it's over? 10-7. Don't answer, and we'll let the callers ring in as well. That's the Big Blue Report, brought to you by Weil McLean. Winter is coming. Be prepared with a Weil McLean high-efficiency boiler available at General Plumbing Supply with 16 locations serving New York and New Jersey and online at gpsheating.com. All right, we'll all towel down, towel off, see if we can make friends during the commercial, but doubtful. We have Larry David later, Trey Wingo in studio. That's why Don's there, because they don't trust Peter.
Thank you.
Greeting somebody. I'd be very upset if I were you, Peter.
I don't think it's that.
This move and the fact that you have no role whatsoever in the Teixeira dinner.
You know what? That is a very good point. It's weird, too, because I just signed a new contract. Literally just signed it. Fresh. The ink
that's when you get treated like trash.
The ink ink isn't even dry.
Well, let's face it, Michael, real quick. What do they want? What are you going to have 3 hosts for it?
That's a good
just
point.
Be silly.
The
only reason they have 2 is because they don't want to disrespect me because I'm supposedly this fictional co-host of the show. So how many facades do you want going at the same time,
I got to tell you, Don, that's a good point. Having me up there, too, is... Now, they could have found a job for me. They could have been like, oh, Peter, you're...
See people.
Well, no.
Or, as we're interviewing Mark, I've always said this, you stand behind us juggling live cats.
I like that idea. Now, Michael, you got to do me one favor, though.
What's that?
You can't overhype my love of Larry David when we bring him on the show.
Why?
Because if you know Larry David as well as I do as a fan, you know one thing he doesn't really get excited about talking to is the fanboy. Would we all agree?
Yes.
That is not a Larry.
Be goo goo gaga.
I won't be goo goo gaga.
And I'm just all I'm saying is do your homework.
Really?
I'm being
What do you mean
serious.
About what part?
About everything, because he does not like dunces.
Because if you
he does not suffer fools gladly.
If you reference a Seinfeld episode, you make sure you reference a Seinfeld episode when he was still there. Because if you reference one where he wasn't there,
he'll
lose
silly
them.
Fanboy memories of Seinfeld. He's got a Curb season coming.
Yeah, I don't.
Right.
By the way, I prefer Curb to Seinfeld. I would never reference Seinfeld.
But when he left Seinfeld for those couple of years, Michael, if he references an episode from that time, he'll lose Peter completely.
I'm not a big Seinfeld reference guy, even though I love Seinfeld. My questions are going to be just about him. But Michael, the audience knows I'm psyched. And we all know I'm psyched, but he doesn't exist on social media. He won't know what, although he does watch.
He watches the show in his office.
Right, he does watch the show, so he may know I'm a fanboy.
He might completely insult you right at the beginning.
But what did you say? It's on in the office. I don't know if he's got the volume.
Exactly, that's right. And
yeah, because this is the kind of show you just keep on because the three of us are so great looking.
Thank you. I agree with you 100%. Anyway, so yeah, just don't oversell it,
you
Michael,
know what?
please.
Here's the deal, Peter. If my mood improves, I won't do it. If I continue to be ticked off, I will do it. So we have till 5:30 to bolster my mood.
Wow, thank you. That's a lot of pressure to put on me for no reason.
This is the Michael K. Show podcast. Subscribe to us on the ESPN app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Before we get to the calls, here is Tom Hamilton on the Lindor double. Tom's amazing. Again, nicest guy in the world. I don't know how he keeps his voice. Here he is.
The 2-2. Swung on, drilled. Deep left field. Gordon back at the wall. Leaps us off the wall. Kicks back to left center. Gonzalez scores the tying run. Lindor, big turn. He'll stay at second. How about that? Frankie Lindor down to his last strike.
It gets louder on the game winner.
Oh, yeah.
Here it comes. A swing and a drive to deep right, down the line, base hit, into the corner, around third, coming home, Ramirez. It's a game winner for Jay Bruce. And history marches on. A mob scene in shallow center. Jay Bruce getting pummeled.
All right, now, Don and Peter know that I wear my headset really loud.
Yes.
Almost uncomfortably so. And that's why I'm deaf. That being said, I have my headset on when the Indians are in town for the 3-game set, and the radio booth is next door, and there's a big piece of glass between us. I was hearing Tom, just without a microphone, call the game with my headset on through the noise and din of my headset.
I got to tell you, boy, is anyone making news of the Jay Bruce quote from a couple days ago, boy, is that not news. Talk about your all-time fake news.
Right.
Jay Bruce. What's more fun, Jay? Losing amidst just absolute chaos and misery in Queens, or being a part of utter history and the most joyous fan base in history?
Absolutely right. It's fake news.
This is amazing that he gets to be a part of it. Good for him.
Since the Mets gave up more runs in their 3-game series against the Cubs than they had ever given up in a 3-game series in their history.
How about this stat, okay?
Yes.
In the 22-game winning streak, right, the Indians have given up 37 runs. This is from a Twitter follower, Rich McLeod. The Mets have allowed 39 runs in their last 22 innings. So you think he's having a better time in Cleveland?
Come on. And it's Peter outlined. It's like Major League there.
Let's go back to the phones. Let's see if anybody wants to take Don to task. And looking at the computer screen, Don's going to have a lot of defending to do. Time for the Tri-State Buick GMC listener hotline. We started off with Mike in New Jersey, so we'll go to somebody who's born in Don's home state.
Hey,
Mike, start.
Hey, guys. Love the show.
Thanks.
I just want to put Don to task. Don, your explanation, then you were kind of backing off of it, backing off of it, saying you didn't really mean what you meant if Odell wasn't there.
No. Did you listen yesterday?
Yes, I did.
I didn't back off.
I tried to call in to tell you how foolish you sound.
But I didn't back off. I said that if Odell doesn't play, all bets are off. If Odell plays and is healthy and they struggle, how is that off base, Mike? It's not 2 games. Do you realize the starters didn't score a touchdown in the preseason? Do you realize what happened in the last 6 games last year?
It doesn't mean the season's over, Don. It's 2 games. It doesn't mean the season's over.
Well, to answer Michael's point, if they lose that game 10-7, but you're not scoring points, you're not protecting your quarterback.
Don, things can change.
What's changing, Mike? Give me an example of something. Mike, give me an example of something that can change.
Odell hasn't played in a month. Maybe he comes back rusty. The season's over? You just sound foolish.
Mike, why is it? No, you sound foolish that you think I'm out of my mind. Is Detroit that great? I wouldn't say this if they were playing the Oakland Raiders. I wouldn't say this if they were going to play the Dallas Cowboys again.
Things can change in any season. To say the season's over after 2 games.
I believe, Mike, that if they struggle offensively with Odell, they're going 7-9. No, it's not over in the sense that I'm not going to watch anymore.
Well, that's what you said, Don.
It's over because they're going to go 7-9. Mike,
but how can you say that?
I'm saying it. How can you say not? All you keep saying is it's too early. Too early for what? If the offense doesn't work, it doesn't work, Mike. You've got to.
The season's over, Don.
Mike.
That's your exact quote.
Yeah.
Too early.
Mike, what's changing?
But Don, you don't know what's going to change, though,
Lions.
Don.
You're going, Mike.
You can't just make a prediction like that.
Mike, I just did. So what? I just did. So what? But are you going to Philadelphia and winning? Are you going to Tampa and win?
Yes, they could go to Philly and win, and they could go to Tampa and win. Why couldn't they, Don? They could easily win both of those games.
And Mike brings up a good point. I mean, they could get better. If the offense lays an egg with Odell, they could get better.
Of course they could. I said the same thing earlier. He needs time to gel.
You could disagree with me. That's what talk radio is about. Is it really that outlandish a statement? They didn't score a touchdown in the preseason with the starters on the field. They struggled last year with Odell Beckham Jr. as one of the best wide receivers in football. So then you start the year, you get one lousy drive against the Dallas Cowboys, who we'll see are really how great they are defensively. And then Detroit, not great defensively. If the score is what Michael said, they lose 10-7. You get one touchdown drive in 60 minutes against Detroit, and I'm supposed to believe that this team has finally figured it out? I believe that they'll end up going 7-9.
Let's go to Manny in Brooklyn. Manny.
Hey, how's it going? Big fan.
Thanks.
Big Peter guy. Don, I got to disagree with you.
That's a nice thing to be able to say,
Thank you.